Welcome to the Secrets of College Planning. I'm your host, Anthony Uva, and today we hope to get some insight on the prevention of injury for sports. My guest today is John Gallucci Jr. He's the medical coordinator for Major League Soccer, and he's also the president and founder of JAG Physical Therapy. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. So usually I start my guests out where they went to college.
Okay, real simple. I was originally a wrestler and had some opportunities to go out and wrestle my very early years out in Long Island, but turned out that due to financial bearings, I ended up finishing my college degree at the City University of New York on Staten Island. Then my first graduate school was Long Island University in Brooklyn. My second graduate school was Dominican College in Orangeburg, New York, and my doctorate as well is from Dominican College.
Wow.
So I've hit a couple of different spots to get my academic resume together.
Yeah, a lot of years of college.
Yeah, a lot of years of college.
So now, how does someone go from that to becoming the president of JAG Physical Therapy and the medical coordinator for Major League Soccer?
Well, I actually got into the physical therapy profession at a very, very young age. At 13 years old, my father owned a surgical supply business in Brooklyn, New York, where we were delivering supplies to different physical therapy companies. Got to meet a great mentor of mine at a young age, a gentleman by the name of Sam Feather, who was a physical therapist years ago at the International Longshoremen's Association in downtown Brooklyn. Loved what he did. At 13 years old, I used to sneak an hour, 2 hours just to watch him, and then over time, he'd let me get involved a little bit, and the rest is history. I've been in physical therapy centers and hospitals since I was 13 years old, from an aide to an assistant to all the way up, and then I became a certified athletic trainer and became a physical therapist with my academics. I stayed in the athletic realm because of my background as a wrestler, and I was also a wrestling coach for years at a high school on Staten Island called Monsignor Farrell High School. Was very, very proud of being a wrestler, so I kept that sports acumen. Came right out of graduate school, had some great opportunities at NYU as an athletic trainer, Columbia University. I did some time with the New York Knicks summer programs and working for the Knickerbocker organization, which was great. And over time, had some administrative background with the Barnabas Health System here in New Jersey, overseeing their sports medicine program as a director of sports medicine there. And about 11 years ago, I decided that I wanted to do my own thing, which was open up a comprehensive outpatient orthopedic musculoskeletal physical therapy center that took care of people, and basically it was a care-first model. In New Jersey and Pennsylvania, physical therapy became very corporate, very timed. It wasn't the true tradition of physical therapy. So I felt I had a niche of bringing back the tradition of physical therapy and really letting the patients know that they should be touched, that they should be doing exercises, that they should be reaching their goals. So I formulated JAG Physical Therapy originally in a small space in West Orange. And now over 10 years, our 10-year anniversary is November 3rd. Over 10 years, we have 10 locations throughout New York and New Jersey, Madison Avenue, Manhattan, all the way from Hackensack, New Jersey, and our facility down here in Princeton. So we're pretty happy about it.
And when did you start the Princeton office?
Our Princeton location was opened up about a year and a half ago. We are very excited. We're in the Forestdale Village in the Can Do Sports Fitness Center, right in the center of it, and we've been accepted unbelievably so by the Princeton community. They love the care we give, but more importantly, they love the fact that there's a progression back, and we like to say to get you back into the game of life. Let it be you're a police officer, a fireman, a painter, a Division I athlete, or a professional athlete. Our goal is to get you to reach your goals and get you back to where you need to be.
Wow, great.
Yeah, so we've been happy down here in Princeton.
Now also you're an author. You wrote a book, Soccer Injury Prevention and Treatment. That's the name of the book. And so how did you get involved in writing a book?
Well, you know, my fourth grade English teacher and my freshman English teacher definitely would laugh that I'm now a noted published author. So I definitely had assistance on the grammar part of it. But pretty much over the years of my career, as I said, I've been very fortunate. A lot of people in my position have had to travel the world to get all the experiences. I've been able to work at every level of athletics in athletics, from children to high school to college to professional athletes. I was a head athletic trainer for years at a professional team here in New Jersey, the New York Red Bulls. I'm now the medical coordinator of Major League Soccer, which means I assist in overseeing 21 medical teams throughout the country for over 700 professional soccer players. Wow. I consult to many different organizations throughout our country in the NFL, the NBA, the NHL. I've worked with players from all those leagues, Major League Baseball. And what I did with this book was basically took my last 25 years of experience in the sports medicine realm and wanted to make an easy guide for parents, coaches, and players to really keep themselves on the field, use some common sense, and stay out of the emergency rooms, understand some simple guidelines of treatment with some easy injuries, but also understand when it's a little bit more serious injury, what direction to take. And then we've also put some tips on nutrition. We put some prevention of injury conditioning programs. So I was very excited to put this book together. Demos Health Books is the publisher. They've been fantastic in helping us getting out. It's all over the country. We've had sales overseas. We're very, very proud of it. I'm proud of it. And I couldn't have done it without the assistance and support of my wife, Dawn, who basically has pushed me to reach for every goal I've gone after. But really, the whole impetus of the book was teaching people common sense how to take care of themselves. And although it's geared towards soccer, we've had the lacrosse community buy it. We've had any type of, we've had the hockey community buy it because a lot of the crossover and injuries are similar and the care. So it's been great that we've been able to do that.
So now, do people, do they start early in their career to prevent the injuries? Like, would you advise the parents at 6, 7 years old, or do they start in high school? When does this prevention really start?
Anthony, that's a great question. Fantastic question. And the first answer I'm going to give parents out there is, just as we look at the school, we look at the teachers' credentials, we need to start to look at the coaches and the trainers' credentials. Because we want to teach our children from 5, 6, 7 years old that exercise and sports is important. It's important for our life. We want our children, as they grow into adults, to stay involved in athletics and physical fitness forever. It needs to be part of our curriculums. It needs to, the physical education needs to be back in our school systems because our America is fighting obesity in our country every single day. We need to make sure our children understand that every day, 7 days a week, fitness needs to be a component of it. So when we're looking at your coaches, when we're looking at your trainers, just as we look at a teacher's credentials, we need to look at the coach's credentials, making sure that your children get the proper tips of aerobic conditioning, of strength and conditioning, of flexibility, on the importance of hydration. Do you know how many children in the fall sports in high schools are injured because they weren't hydrated appropriately and basically got a strain of the lower extremity, their leg, because they're muscle fatigued based on hydration? If these children are learning from 5, 6, 7, 8 years old the proper way to hydrate when you're involved in athletics, we're not going to have this issue any longer. So it's important that parents understand it's a very easy guide. The book is very easy, but you need to use common sense when it comes to your children's athletics. And every child should be involved in some sort of physical fitness.
So do you find different sports with different types of injuries?
So every sport has its different types of injuries. So of course your higher impact sports like football have more collision injuries. Your running sports and your aerobic sports like swimming and running have more of your overuse injuries or your repetitive injuries. Soccer and lacrosse and hockey see a tremendous amount of overuse injuries, but they also see their bout of collision injuries. So it's important to understand that if we go back 20 years ago and we looked at all the professional athletes and we used to look at the injury statistics, we can really look and say that a multi-sport athlete was probably injured less because that athlete was always conditioned in multi-directional facets, was always conditioned in different ways, and had to do different mechanics for the sport that they were involved in. Now we're very all about, you could play one sport, you can't do this. I mean, we have issues now. If you're an academy level soccer team, you can't play for your high school. But also you are looking at kids playing 9, 10, 11 months the sport that they really enjoy. Kids are being asked to specify the sport by the time we're 10 years old. Wow. we're actually doing a disservice to the children. You know, it's great to specify when you get into high school and if you really want to hone in on something. But we're really decreasing the opportunity for that child to stay healthy all year round, to be able to do something in a multi-directional facet with strength and conditioning, to be able to be aerobically and anaerobically trained all year round, and be able to learn the fine and gross motor skills of all the different sports. And what you really find is a child that plays a multiple of sports until they're 14 to 16 years old, when they get to their 17, 18 years old and they do specify, usually they're injured less. You know, that athlete is fitter. The person is, you know, has been trained to use all the facets of their body. So, you know, my opinion as a medical professional is that we should not hone in to one sport. And if we do hone into a sport at an early age, we need to have that child trained in a multi-directional strength and conditioning program.
Interesting. Very good.
Yep.
So the treatment, what's the type of treatments that people should do to go through this all?
Well, it's very important that people understand that every injury is treated differently and every person should be treated differently based on how they are responding to the injury and the treatment. At JAG Physical Therapy, that's one of our goals. Everybody's an individual. It's not that you're coming with us with an anterior cruciate ligament tear and you're following this simple step program. No. It's a person treating a person. So we're making sure that our therapists and our athletic trainers are invested in the proper care and progression of care for that individual. What the common sense message we want to get out to the parents is, and some quick pearls of wisdom are, hydration, flexibility, and conditioning help decrease injuries for your children. And it's very important, those three things, that parents get their children and coaches get their children doing now. So this way, it's not just an in-season activity. Right. You can ask your high school coaches and your college coaches how they beg their players to do something before the season. Yeah. If you look at high school fall sports, usually these kids will run a week to 2 weeks before the sport begins. And then the coaches, unfortunately, are challenged with not only teaching the sport, trying to be competitive in the sport, but now they've got to condition a kid. Right. You can't condition an athlete in 3 days, no matter if you do 2 a days, 3 a days, 4 a days, 5 a days. Physiologically, it takes 6 weeks for the muscle to basically grow and get strong. We know that. Science has proven that. So really, these children with their parents need to be in strength and conditioning and aerobic conditioning programs way before the fall sports season starts. I have 2 children that are both athletics. I have a daughter who is a sophomore. She's a soccer player and a golfer. I have a son who's a lacrosse player and fencer. Great. So if you look at those 2 seasons, for both of them, they're doing something aerobically all year round. If they're at a season, they have to do runs every day. They have to do some sort of strength, some sort of calisthenics. We all remember Jack LaLanne. What did he preach to us over and over and over again? Every day, let's do our calisthenics. We need to get our calisthenics back. Our children every day. You don't have to pay $1 million to go to a strength and conditioning coach for your son and daughter to do the simplistic crunches, core workout, push-ups, jumping jacks, and run a mile or 2. So the important thing that we want to get out there is the best way to prevent injuries is stay conditioned. If you stay conditioned, you'll decrease your injuries. And that's the best thing we want parents to walk away with today.
So now, if a parent has a student athlete that is playing a sport, when do they usually contact a company like yours, JAG Physical Therapy? When is that time frame? Is it when they get hurt, or is it before they even get hurt?
Well, JAG Physical Therapy is fortunate that we've become a resource in the communities that we serve. We have athletic trainers that are at club sporting events, high school sporting events, college sporting events. So our athletic trainers in the communities are all over. We cover usually anywhere between 6,000 to 7,000 events per year for children athletics. So our athletic trainers between New York City and New Jersey are all over the state of New Jersey and all over New York covering events. So our athletic trainers are there as a resource for the parents, the coaches, and the children. When an athlete sustains an injury, of course, we try to make sure that the child, if the parent doesn't have a physician, we recommend one, but usually the parents do have physicians. And then what happens is, because they already have a relationship with us, they basically end up coming to one of our facilities and we start the rehabilitative process. We also do a tremendous, like this book, a tremendous amount of education in the community. We actually have a great program this evening in Manhattan on spinal injuries in sports. We're doing another program on Thursday night on common injuries in soccer. We just did a lacrosse program. We did a football program. We do programs throughout the entire year for parents and coaches to come and learn how to prevent injuries. So we've really become a huge resource in the communities we serve because, again, when I built the company and I started the company, my goal was that physical therapy was becoming too antiseptic to the New Jersey community.
Yeah.
We need to be in the communities we serve. We need to be taking care of people, and we need to be a resource to those communities. So the best way to get us, and most people do it, is jagpt.com. JAGPT.com, but usually they'll know us just from one of our athletic trainers, one of our physical therapy educational programs, our prevention programs. We are even in nursing homes doing slips and falls prevention programs. Wow. So we're really trying to get people to understand that you got to stay active. We want to keep you healthy and staying active. So out of the emergency rooms. It's easier to take care of a simple sprain than a fracture.
Now, do you do a lot of seminars at high school level?
We do high school seminars. We do a program with Barnabas Health called the Morahan Center for Athletic Assessment. We do a program for them on cardiac screening and concussions. So we're usually in about 30 to 40 high schools a year with Barnabas Health. Mm-hmm. Very proud of that program, how it's grown over the last 8 years. So we offer to be an educator alongside the professionals of Barnabas Healthcare System. We've done programs with Atlantic as well. We've done programs with HSS, Columbia Presbyterian, NYU. But JAG Physical Therapy is proud that we personally do programs ourselves in all our communities. We just had a program here in Princeton about a month ago that was basically a groin injury prevention program for hockey players and soccer players. We do concussion education programs. We do, again, as I said, we do a year about 150 educational programs a year. It could be a simple club program that they bring us in to speak to the athletes, or it could be something that we're doing for medical professionals and we're teaching medical professionals. So our goal, again, is to serve the community.
So do these injuries occur at all the levels, high school, college, and the professional level? And what type of injuries do you see at each one of those levels?
Oh, it's a great question again. Greatly appreciate it. You're definitely putting them up there for me to hit that shot. So pretty much when you look at injuries, we've got to understand that especially in sports, there's always a propensity for an injury to happen. Child collides into another child. Child collides into the net. Child collides into the boards in hockey. There's so many, just spraining your ankle running down the field. You jump for a rebound in basketball, you step on another foot. There's so many different ways to get collision or contact injuries. Mm-hmm. The unfortunate thing is, the goal is to teach to stop the common overuse injuries. Because if you really look at the distribution of sports medicine injuries, we're seeing in the high school and college and professional level, a lot of overuse injuries because we didn't teach our youth how to prevent those. So what you're seeing is your tendinitises, your bursitis, you're seeing those types of injuries that can be prevented based on not a repetitive action, based on doing multi-directional training and conditioning. Your sprains, your strains, your fractures, your torn ligaments in sports are going to happen. Mm-hmm. There was a big thing a bunch of years ago that two dear friends of mine, Dr. Bert Mandelbaum and another dear friend of mine, Holly Silva, published a beautiful report on a prevention anterior cruciate ligament for female athletes. And they did this study with the U.S. national team. It was a great study. What the study showed us, though, is we can prevent all sorts of lower extremity and leg injuries if our athletes, especially our female athletes, are invested in some sort of lower extremity conditioning plan. So now there's hundreds out there, JAG Physical Therapy. We actually have the LESS program. It's the Lower Extremity Strengthening System. And it's a program to prevent lower extremity injuries such as tendinitis, ligament tears. We teach female athletes how to jump appropriately without a valgus stress that can hurt the ligaments of their knee. We teach male athletes the proper running mechanics. Again, the biggest thing is if your mechanics are good, you're not going to get injured. And those are the important things.
So do you see more injuries in males or in females?
Our company sees a distribution of both, but in high school athletics, we see more females.
Wow.
Yeah, you see more female lower extremity injuries. Again, because I think that at times we're worried about competition, we're worried about what team we're on, we're worried about what coach we have, but we don't worry enough what conditioning does my daughter have to perform at this higher level. Here in New Jersey, and we'll take soccer, for example, and lacrosse, we have variant differences of both. You have a recreational level, you have a club level, and in soccer, you have an academy level. Yeah. So when you look at those levels, are you prepared fitness-wise to compete at those different levels? Our high school level, is a little bit lesser competitive because, again, it's to cater to the high school audience. You have great high school programs. Your club level, a little bit higher, your academy level, are you fit enough to handle these games? Plus the multitude of games. We're starting to see that. We're looking at the NCAA right now, talk about actually distributing the soccer season through spring and fall.
Really?
And their rationale is to possibly decrease the incidence of injuries because they're playing so many games with no true regeneration to really have the children's muscle, the athlete's musculature rebound quick enough. So what happens is you get fatigue injuries. And what's a fatigue injury? A muscle tear, a muscle strain. Those are fatigue. When the muscle gets to a point that it can't handle anymore, either it's dehydrated the muscle or it's fatigued, it will strain. And then we have to look at the classifications of strains. There's 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. 3 is no good. 3, you're done. You tore that muscle, you're out for the season.
Wow.
So it's important that parents understand that, and it's important. Coaches are trying every day. The coaches are trying to get this communication balance with the parents. It's important that you close the circle with the medical professional, the coaches, the parents, and the athletes, which are the children, at every level. You see it at the NCAA, you see it in professional sports. We need to trickle it down to the high school level. High schools in New Jersey have one athletic trainer.
Yeah, that's true.
One athletic trainer. The ATS&J here in the state of New Jersey are trying very hard to fight that there needs to be more than one athletic trainer at the high school. The high schools need to put in their budgets more than one athletic trainer. If you've got more than 200 athletes, you should have a second athletic trainer. If you've got more than 400 athletes, you should have a third full-time athletic trainer working for the school district. Unfortunately, it's not looked at, to comment off a mentor of mine, medicine and care needs to be proactive, not reactive. And unfortunately, still today at the high school level, we're still behind the 8 ball and reacting. We need to be proactive, as those full-time athletic trainers could be running these prevention programs during the school year. And maybe the incidence of injury will be less in the school, and the insurance rates will decrease with less claims made against them.
Yeah, that's very true. So tell me, how does someone get in contact with you and find out more information from you?
The easiest way to get in touch with me is info, I-N-F-O, @jagpt.com. And to get to our website, it's easy. It's jagpt.com. Pretty easy. I'm very accessible. I speak all over the world. In the next 2 months, I have the privilege. I just came back from Bermuda. I'm speaking at the Soccer Expo in Barbados next month, which is a world soccer program. We have an opportunity for me to possibly speak in Lyon, France. In the spring, we're very excited about. I've had opportunities to speak in Italy, but more importantly, I speak all over New Jersey and New York. We don't charge for me to come and speak. I want to get the knowledge out there for prevention. I want to keep these kids out of the emergency rooms, and I want to keep them healthy. So those are the easiest ways to get in contact with me.
And how do people get soccer injury prevention and treatment Where do they go for
The
this?
easiest way is Amazon.com, or Barnes & Noble actually has it on their shelves. My mom is so proud of me. I'm in Barnes & Noble. She actually went to the one in Staten Island and found it and bought it. So we know we sold one copy out of Barnes & Noble, but BarnesandNoble.com, Amazon.com, or you can go straight to the publisher, Demos Health publishes, and they're demos.com. And they've been fantastic in helping us get the book not only throughout the United States, but we're actually, as I said earlier, getting it all over the world. We've actually had a privilege that clubs, soccer clubs all over the country, are using the book as a fundraiser, because Demos Health has decided that they'll discount the book to any soccer club that's willing to use it as a fundraiser for their club. So we've had several clubs already make $10,000 just by buying the book and reselling it to their audience. Okay. So it's an opportunity for the clubs themselves to be able to. We have a couple of academy teams that are doing the same thing.
Great.
So we're very excited about that it's being used as a fundraiser. The National Soccer Coaches Foundation of America has endorsed the book as well, and they're using it as a fundraiser for them.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, John, it's coming to the end of our show. 30 minutes goes pretty quick. Yeah, absolutely. So usually my last question for my guests is, what advice do you give the parents that are high school level, going to college level, going to the pros? What advice would you give the parents?
The best thing is very simple, what we've discussed a little bit already. As a parent, and I am a parent with an athlete in college and an athlete in grammar school, it's important to understand that we need to give our children a base of physical fitness. We need to give our children a base of strength, and we need to teach them the proper hydration and nutritional concepts that we learned as children. It's important that parents understand we're sending our child with a couple of bucks to buy lunch, but you've got to know the majority of them are buying a bag of chips and some sort of sugary drink. Maybe we should get back to the point that we're sending them what we know they're going to eat and less money. So let's send them with the bag lunch, with the turkey on whole wheat, with the lettuce and tomato, maybe a piece of fruit in the bag, and maybe some water, so we know at least one time during the day they're getting 8 to 16 ounces of good water in their system. If you read this book and you see what we're lacking in hydration across our athletes, that's how we're going to prevent things. So the best thing that I could teach parents is, let's give our kids good physical fitness, let's give them good strength, and understand good nutrition and hydration, and we'll keep the children on the field, on the on the rink, on the court, and out of my office and out of the emergency room tables.
Great. Well, thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Look forward to our next visit.
Yeah, no problem. And thank you for watching The Secrets of College Planning. Until next time, I'm your host, Anthony Uva.